Perfect. All right. So, a very warm good evening on behalf of whole Detroit India team. My name is Riya Chhabra. I'm a corporate lawyer with 5+ years of experience, and I'll be conducting your today's session. So, before starting with this session, I would love to know about you as well, like what you are doing currently. Okay, do let me know whether you are a working professional like in litigation right now or whether you are in law college. If you're in law college, do let me know which year you are in. Okay, so, in this particular session, I'll also be guiding you about how you can create your career in corporate sector, what skills are demanded, and how you can work on your skill sets. Is it okay? Can I have your thumbs up, everyone, if the instructions are clear that what we are going to learn in the session? So, please start dropping your introduction in the chat box. That way, I'll also get to know like what at what level do I have to explain you the things. Okay, trust me, this session is going to be highly helpful for you. You are going to learn a lot from today's session. So, Aditya has already provided his introduction. Please drop your introductions quickly. I can see quite familiar faces like Arjun. I know I have seen you in other sessions as well. Is there anyone else who is joining, the Ledroid session for the second or third time? Anyone? Repetitive participants? Because I can see few names. Ben, I think so, I'm also aware of. You guys were there in the last session as well. Okay, all right, great. Good to have you all once again over here. But Arjun and Ben, I believe you were there in the last demo session of contract drafting too. No worries. In today's session, we are going to discuss few more details. I'm also going to cover a brief about contract lifecycle management as well. Okay, so all right. So we all know that this is a demo session for contract drafting course that is starting from 10th February, and that course will be conducted by me. I'll let me give you my intro. So, as I said, that I'm a corporate lawyer with 5+ years of experience. In this 5+ years, I have worked with 5 companies. That is Infosys. I've also worked with ISG, Bright Night, and currently working with one multinational IT company. And with that experience, I'll be explaining things to you like what type of questions are asked during interview, what type of skills are demanded in corporate sector, and how you can get into corporates. Okay, now apart from me there's one more faculty. She's working in Deloitte and she'll also be taking few sessions of the course. There's another faculty. She is alumni of Queen's Mary University London. She's also going to conduct few sessions. So altogether there will be 4 faculties in this particular contract drafting course, and you are going to get guidance from all of them. Personally, you'll also be receiving like details on how what are the areas to look into, what is the day-to-day activity in corporate sector. And coming from my experience, I never applied for any of the opportunity. Till date, I receive the calls from employers. I've never applied for an opportunity. I receive call from employers directly. So I can guide you in that situation because we all know how the job market is, how much this thing confusion is there when you are in law college, like what to do once you're out of your law college, how to apply for jobs and all. Because mostly you cannot rely on your colleges to receive pre-placement offers. Colleges claim that they'll be providing you placements, but when the time actually arrives, it all depends on the job market. You cannot rely on anyone to give you the job. Be it any organization, you cannot rely on anyone else to give you the job. It all depends on your skill sets. Let's say that your college or any organization has brought you the job. Okay, you are there sitting for the interview. Now, at the time of interview, you're not able to answer the questions. How you'll be able to get that job? How you'll be able to crack that job? So it's not about getting the opportunity easily, it's about cracking the opportunity. And with the help of this particular course, you'll be able to actually crack all the opportunities. Okay, so let's get started. Do let me know whatever doubts you have, whatever questions you have in your, like how you want to create your career in corporate, especially first generation lawyers. You guys are highly confused. I know because I'm also one of them. So don't worry, you can ask all your questions from me. Okay, I'll answer to all of them. So just confirm once my screen is visible to you. Till that time, are the instructions clear so far? You guys are able to hear me properly? Throughout the session, do give me certain reactions. Okay, be very much interactive so I know you guys are there. Okay, All right. Okay, I'll answer to your queries, towards the end of the session or in between. So whatever doubts you have, you can start dropping them out in the chat box, and we'll be going ahead with it. So let's start with, 1 second. Okay, yeah. So let's start with the basics first. In all Android sessions, we always cover things from basics and then we move towards practicality. Because till the time your foundation is not very strong, it will be useless to create a building on it, right? So first we work on the foundation, then we explain you how things work in corporate sector actually, what type of work you can expect and all. And trust me, in corporate, the scene is very different compared to litigation. I know, like, there are few people who are confused with litigation or corporate. It completely depends on your choice. In litigation, it is fruitful, but around 10 years at least, 5 years or 10 years at least, it will take time for you to set up that ground to actually start earning. Okay, it's a very good respectful position to be an advocate, but when it comes to becoming an corporate lawyer, there's one thing I would like to clarify, that you don't actually need to have a bar license with you. So you can become a corporate lawyer without even having a bar license. For some companies, they do need bar license. It totally depends on you whether you want one or not. But so far, whatever opportunities I have received, they never demanded bar license. So in order to become a corporate lawyer, you don't need to enroll yourself in bar council. Okay, so that is one thing. Now in corporate, what are the perks? You get fixed salary, you have a very different environment, there is fixed routine Monday to Friday, right? And then you have a fixed work as well, so it's you are able to create your work life balance over there compared to litigation, I'm saying. Now plus point over here is, today one of my friend, she has got around same experience, 5 years of experience. She got a job in one of the companies, and just guess how much package she would have gotten an offer of. Just take a guess. She has done, like, she has been in the role of in-house counsel, and she is very good in drafting and doing the same work and all what we are going to learn in this course. So we are going to learn contract drafting, negotiation, review, and contract lifecycle management. All the skills that you're learning in this course, she has got it. Just guess how much package she has received after 5 years. Just take guesses. What are your guesses on this? Come on, take your guesses on this thing. Okay, Karishma is saying 20. Just take a guess. Like, you all want to create your career in corporate, so it's better you should be aware of the practicality, how things actually take place, right? You cannot enter into a particular career path without having actual knowledge how much you can expect in terms of earning. We all are studying, we all are doing something. Our ultimate goal is to earn. So, how much you think? Okay. Now I'll tell you salary wise what can be your realistic, expectation in term of salary when you enter into corporate sector. Okay. Uh, Pritesh, the 60 or Karishma 20, what you are saying, 1000 LPA, what it is? Give me full answers on this. Okay. Give me full answers. Okay. Okay. All right. What about you, Pritesh? So I'm telling you realistic answers. In corporate, whenever you apply for a job, you are judged based on your skill sets. Okay, your college doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all from which college you are from. And that, my friend, she's from a normal college. Okay, she's not from a top college or very expensive college, a very normal basic college. And even I am from a normal college. Okay, now, okay, I can see that you guys are making guesses. It's good. Please make more guesses over here. Now, when I'll give you a situation, there are two type of students. Both are freshers. Okay, both are freshers and both have applied for an opportunity. There's this one student who is a college topper, and this person is from NLU or any other top college. There's this second who is from an average college. This person has done more than college. This person has done internships and has also participated in competition. And way of that, he has upgraded his skills. This did not do anything apart from becoming a topper. I'm not audible. Tracking for you. Okay. Okay, now it's not breaking, right? Thank you for confirming. Can I have thumbs up from everyone that I'm clearly audible? Perfect, great. So let's get started. So I was saying that there are two students. Okay, one student is a college topper. This person is from NLU or any other top college. This person has always achieved first rank in his university and is very good student. On the other hand, the second one, this person is coming from an average college, is an average student in terms of marks as well. He has got very average, like just reaching first division. That's all. Very average student. And this person has also, what addition this person has done? This person has done internships and also done course on contract drafting and all. These two people have applied for same position. Now, as an employer, the employer questions are going to be different. The employer is going to judge you based on your skill sets. He's going to ask you what you have done in your law college. Okay, he's going to ask you what you have done in your law college apart from studies, because that's where the interview starts. They check what you are more, like, are you more than your college? Have you done anything extra apart from your college? Were you actually interested in creating your career or not? So first point over here is, don't be a bookworm. Actually get into practical field, learn about how things take place. Now, you consider yourself, this employer is offering, let's say, 20,000 monthly salary. Okay, first, for a fresher, 25 30,000 monthly salary you can expect as a fresher. 25 to 30,000 as a fresher. That's a basic salary. You can get a package around 50 60,000 as well as a fresher. It all depends on your skill sets and the company you are applying in. So there's no fixed rule. You can start your first job with a 30,000 salary or with a 60,000 salary. That's the starting point in your corporate sector. Okay, now the employer is going to judge you based on your skill sets. The topper person is very much good with Indian Contract Act. He's aware of what the law says, but he doesn't know how to actually apply the law, how to implement the law. On the other hand, the second person, the average student, this person actually drafted contracts, and he also started working as freelancer during his law college itself. So he was aware of how to deal with clients, how to negotiate with clients as well. Okay, so employer is eventually going to select the second person. He's not going to look into your mark sheet, how much marks you have got. Marks doesn't matter when you are in the actual field. Even when you are in litigation, your marks is not going to matter anywhere. The judge is not going to ask you how much you scored during your law college, right? So what matters is your skill sets, how you are presenting yourself, your way of communication. Everything matters over there. So start developing your skill sets over there. Start working on your personality while you still have time. Don't be a shy student who is just reading books, getting passed in exam. Interact, participate in more internships, do courses, because that add to your CV. Otherwise, when you actually have to showcase your CV, you'll not have anything to print over there apart from your marks. So courses are beneficial over there. Okay, now ultimately the employer is going to select the second student. Why? Because this person is already aware of how to deal with clients, how to draft a contract, how to review a contract, and the employer doesn't have to spoon feed him with everything. There's less hard work over there. because the employee is already trained, he's already smart enough to get into practice directly. You don't have to teach him everything. So that's the reason, develop your skill sets, add on to your CV about courses that you have done something else apart from your law college and the books you have read. Okay, because the practical world is completely different to what you are seeing right now in your college. Also, do participate in moot court competitions. Don't wait for your final year to participate in them, because many students participate in them towards their final year. Don't wait for your final year, but start participating from first year. That will increase your knowledge in terms of how to read cases, how to interpret law, and apply that knowledge. Okay, so everything is going to be helpful for you. Okay, now coming to the today's session of contract drafting common mistakes. In this session, I'm going to take you through what are the mistakes that people usually do when it comes to drafting a contract. Okay, what are the things you have to keep in mind when you start with your first draft? Whenever you get the work to draft a contract, what are the things you have to keep in mind? Now, usually, what people think is if you want to create your career in corporate, just be aware of how to draft a contract. But there's a lot more to it. Just drafting a contract is not enough. Why? Reason is that why it is not enough. Reason is that you can get templates as well. Nowadays people are asking AI as well to draft a contract, right? But actually drafting is not enough. You should be actually able to analyze a contract and understand what you are writing is actually correct or not. As a corporate lawyer, you should be aware of what you are drafting, what is there in your drafted contract is actually beneficial for your company or not. So don't be, I'm sorry to use the word, don't be a rattu tota that you have read the contract, learned the contract thoroughly, and then you're just writing it out. You're not writing an essay. Over here, you're applying your mind, you're seeing the practical situation, and then you are drafting a contract. For the people like who participated in, giving me an answer that when you had to guess the salary of that friend of mine who is working as a corporate lawyer, so she got into a very big MNC right now, and the offer she received was 50 LPA after 5 years. 50 LPA is a lot. Okay, in law, people don't usually think of it. But yes, you can achieve that. And even in director position, you can expect salary around 1 CR and above. So this all is happening just not because of a contract drafting skill. There's more to it. That is contract life cycle management. That is the thing. So what it is, I'll also explain you that what is contract lifecycle management. This is something you'll not learn in your law college. This is something you'll not learn in your internships as well. CLM, the full form of it is contract lifecycle management. It is something you'll eventually learn once you are into corporate sector. That too, if you're lucky enough to, yes, Pritesh, with 5 years experience. That too, when you this one, where was I? CLM, yes. So CLM, you'll understand about CLM once you are into corporate and you have worked on overall CLM, because contract lifecycle management in itself is a very big, like it's an altogether a different world that has its own sub departments that not everyone gets a chance to work upon. Okay. I'm not changing my slides as of for now, so it's fixed. Now, let's understand about how things work in corporate. There are different departments for each thing. So there's a department who is going to draft contract. There's a department who is going to manage contracts. That's where your CLM comes into picture. And there are lawyers who are aware of both the things. CLM plus contract drafting. When I'm saying CLM, it's a tool. So every company nowadays uses a tool. Okay, they use a tool. Now, what is this tool? Earlier you used to work on this particular thing. You How we used to save files, how we used to save files on your laptop, by either we are saving it on Google Drive, OneDrive and all, right? We create a folder and over there we save a file. Now imagine a company that is entering into thousands of contracts in a single day. Will it be possible for that company to keep a track of every thousand contract they are entering in a day? Will it be possible for them to keep a track of it just by creating separate folders, and over there they are able to know at what stage the contract is? When it comes to contract drafting, let's understand this. The question I asked, keep it in your mind, okay? Will it be possible for any company to keep a track of 1,000 contracts they have drafted in a day? Okay, just keep thinking about this thing as we proceed ahead. I'll explain you what is CLM, but this question is very important. Now, let's start with basics first. Under which law the contract is governed in India? Can you guys tell me? Under which law the contract is governed in India? Correct, Karishma. It's Indian Contract Act 1872. Always make sure that you are giving your answer along with the year. Don't just give 1872 or Indian Contract Act. Okay? Always give complete answer for this. So you guys are right over there. You have basic understanding of what is a contract. It's an agreement enforceable by law is a contract. For first year students, any type of in order to enter into contract, you need to have two parties. Both the parties should be of competent age, that means 18 plus years. Okay, and they should be promising to each other that they are going to work something or anything in exchange of a consideration, and that's how they enter into a valid contract. So that is the basic thing. Now let's understand a very unique scenario of napkin contract. Now there's a usual belief that in order to draft anything, you have to draft them on a stamp paper, right? That's what you know when you are in your law college, that every documentation is drafted on a stamp paper in order to make it legalized. But actually, the companies are not drafting all the contracts in stamp paper. You can simply enter into contract by way of drafting it on a napkin as well. This is a valid example over here. So in this particular story, your famous footballer Messi, when he was 13 years old, his father and Barcelona director, they were sitting at the cafe, and director wanted to book Messi to bring him into his team directly. They did not have a lawyer with them at that particular moment. So what they did, they simply drafted terms and conditions, very simple terms and conditions, that from this day onwards, Messi will be part of Barcelona team and he'll be paid this particular amount, and both the parties signed on that napkin. This napkin was actually considered as a valid contract. You see, it was not drafted on a stamp paper, it was not drafted on a clean sheet as well. It was just drafted on a napkin and it was considered as a valid contract. Later on, it was also auctioned. Okay, you can see the numbers on the screen at how much amount it was auctioned. Now, same thing is applying in your corporate sector as well. Nowadays, you have electronic contracts as well. Even as electronic stamp papers are also there. So everything has turned digital. You are no longer working on the papers, you're working online. There is work from home opportunity as well. You don't have to go to office as well. So even with the contracts, you can enter into contract virtually and it will be considered as valid contract. So we have a separate altogether session on e-contracts in our contract drafting course, where we cover what are the different type of electronic contracts and how you actually enter into electronic contract, how you send the contracts for signature and all. That is a separate thing altogether. Just to make your concepts clear, that in your litigation all your documents should be drafted on a stamp paper, but in corporate it's not the same rule. You can enter into a contract virtually, you can enter into a contract on a normal a sheet paper, provided it should have all the essentials of a valid contract. Okay, that's all. Provided for certain contracts that have huge value in it. Okay, for specific contracts it is important that they should be drafted on a stamp paper, but rest of the contracts that the business is entering into on their day to day operations, you don't actually need to draft them on a stamp paper. Is it clear? Are you guys understanding? Do give me thumbs up that yes, you are understanding and everything. Okay. Yes, Karishma, I'll take you through the details of the course, okay? Don't worry. Please be there till the end. I'll provide you proper clarity on what are the things you're going to learn in the course. So, like right now, let's focus on the learning, okay? All right. Now, there are certain things that people need to keep in mind when you start drafting a contract. And these things are missed out by people who are into corporate as well. So if you think that you're in law college, that's why you need to do the course, that's not it. Even after you have entered into corporate, even after when you have joined a company and working for 5 years, 10 years, you still have to do the course over there. So this is never ending process. You have to continuously upgrade your skill sets. I have seen lawyers who claim that they have 10 years of experience, but when you actually read their draft, you'll get to know that they do not have the correct experience because their draft is not looking good. So it's one thing that you say that you know drafting, and it's the other that you know actually how to draft a good contract. There's a difference over here. Okay. And your drafts create your impression about what type of lawyer you are, because the person reading your draft is going to judge you. He's not going to meet you, your draft is going to reach that person before you. It creates an impression. Your contract is your identity. So make sure that you're well versed with your words, you are well versed with how to understand and analyze a contract and everything. Okay, having a practical knowledge is going to help, be highly helpful for you. So let's understand what are the mistakes that people, even with years of experience, do. First is ambiguous language. That means that when you're drafting a contract, focus on the clarity. There are different departments in a company. Okay, so there is marketing department, there is engineering department, development department, delivery department, and then there's legal department. All these other departments are going to reach out to lawyer, the legal department, to draft a contract. Now this lawyer is expected to have knowledge about the needs of the company. So whatever company you join, research about its product, what type of product the company is offering, because that knowledge is going to be helpful for you. And even during the interview they can ask you this thing: have you researched about our company? Do you know what type of services we are providing? Okay, always research about the company. Now, these contracts are going to be read by people from other departments as well. So make sure that whatever you are writing in your contract, it should be clear and very specific. Don't use a number of, this thing. Don't use confusing language. For example, look into this one example. Party A will deliver the goods as soon as possible. Why this is incorrect? You'll get to know once you read the correct example. Party A shall deliver the goods within 10 business days following the execution of this agreement. The second version is more precise. It's giving me more understanding of by when the goods will be delivered, and the days will start from which date. So over here the goods will be delivered within 10, focus on the word business days. Do you know there's a difference between days and business days? There's a huge difference, and because of this thing your whole contract interpretation can change. So always make sure that you are using specific words, you are not using repetitive language in your contract, in order to create, so you don't create any confusion. Now how? First example is highly confusing. It is not providing you clarity within how many days. It is not telling you from when the days will start, whether it will start once you make the payment, whether it will start once both the parties have signed or executed the copy of the contract, right? But the second example is clearly saying within 10 business days. Now, I'll tell you the difference between your days and business days. Had it been written 10 days, the meaning would have been totally different. It would have meant, let's say that the contract was signed on 7th February 2026. today's date. Okay, the contract was signed today. 10 days hereafter, that is 17th February 2026, that is the day by when this person can receive the delivery of the goods. But over here, the term is 10 business days. This means Monday to Friday. That's the definition of your business days. Okay, Monday to Friday. So in this particular scenario, I'll be calculating 10 days, counting, excluding your Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so your tentative delivery will be around your 22nd February or something, if I remove Saturday and Sunday in between. Okay, so that's how the word you are using creates a huge difference in what you have drafted in your contract. Are we clear with this particular point? Can I have thumbs up from everyone? So I'll be expecting your reactions in each slide. Okay, then I'll be moving ahead. Okay, all right. Let's understand second thing. I already covered this point. Failure to define key terms. So the example that we just saw, business days, in your contract you also have to specify what is your understanding of business days. Reason is, your interpretation of business days can be it's Monday to Friday, right? But there are certain companies who work from Monday to Saturday as well. So for that company, the interpretation can be Monday to Saturday, but your interpretation is Monday to Friday. So in order to avoid this confusion and misinterpretation, it is important that whatever important terms you are using in your contract, define them. So none of the parties are confused with how to actually interpret that particular term. Okay, are we clear that why defining a particular clause or your term is important? Okay, next thing, overly complex or lengthy sentences. This is like useful for people who think that when they, if they are using overly big sentences or very big words, they are creating a very good draft. That's not how it is. Your contract is going to be read by layman's, not by a lawyer. Not every contract is read by a lawyer. When a lawyer is eventually reading it at two stages, when the company is entering into the contract, at that time the lawyer is going to read it to make sure that the contract is not riskful. Okay, secondly, when the contract is in dispute, at that time the lawyer will be reading the contract. Rest of the time that contract will be read by layman's. So when a person from non-legal background is reading the contract, this person will not be aware of your legal terminologies that you have used in your contract, because he doesn't know about these words. So your language should be very simple. English should be very basic. It should not be your highly extravagant English. Okay, it should be very simple, plain English you have to use. Don't use overly complicated sentences or words. Don't over explain things as well. Keep your contract precise. If something can be done within 20 pages, don't unnecessarily extend your contract till 50 pages, because it will eventually take things against you. In order to just extend the contract, you have drafted 50 pages contract. Now when this contract will be in question in court, let's say on one clause you have written something else. Okay, in order to extend it, in the second clause you have elaborated the same thing, but you have used different wordings over there. We all know the difference of your shall and may, right? uh, that's the basic when you get to know in your first year, like how the words shall and may creates a difference while you are reading. So in one sentence, if I've used the word shall, and in the second sentence I've used the word may, both the clauses, even though they are providing the same, even though they are talking about the same thing, but because of this word, now I have to interpret them differently. So that will take things go against you. So always make sure that keep your contracts precise, simple, and easily understandable language. No need to overcomplicate things like you do in your relationships. Keep it very simple in nature. Okay, are we clear? Okay, now let's understand next thing. Omission of essential clauses. So this is something we'll get to know once you are I'll be like taking you through important clauses. A contract is full of, several set of clauses. For each industry, you have to draft your clause differently. So there's no fixed rule that this is what you need to have in your contract. There's no fixed rule over there. Every contract is different. Okay, even when you learn this thing, in our course, you'll be provided with proper knowledge of how you have to interpret and understand what needs to be included in your contract, how your clauses should be framed properly considering the situation. So once that thing is clear to you, you'll be able to draft any type of contract. Okay, so you'll be learning about several sets of contracts, including how you can change your contract language depends on a different industry as well. A contract needed in electric in the like your solar power energy industry will be different compared to a contract that you're drafting for a DJ freelancer, right? The contract you're drafting for a, let's say, freelance photographer, that contract is going to be very different compared to a contract that is drafted for a solar power energy company, right? Very different contracts. So accordingly, you need to be aware of what clauses are required to be inserted in each contract depending upon the topic you are talking about. That is very important. So having knowledge about industry is also very important thing. Failure to specify governing law and jurisdiction. Let's understand this thing. Give me a minute. I'm opening one particular thing for you all. One second. Um, okay. Yeah. Failure to specify governing law and jurisdiction. So this is one of the clause that is very important to be there in all your contracts, be it electronic contract, be it contract that you have drafted on a stamp paper, or your day-to-day operational contract. Very important clause. Never miss out on this clause. Okay, what this clause basically says that how this contract will be governed, which court will be having jurisdiction to take decisions with regard to this particular contract. Now let's take an example why this clause is important. One party is from India, other party is from USA. Okay, both the parties have entered into contract. You forgot to add this particular clause with regard to governing law and jurisdiction. Both the parties entered into contract. They were very happy at the time of entering into contract that yes, it's a very good deal. Let's just fix it ahead. Let's just enter into it. Let's say it's a $1 million deal. So what parties will eventually try to do? They'll try to get it done as soon as possible, right? Without even going through the contract all over again. They'll just want to enter into the contract. So they enter into the contract. Now the deal is done. Both the parties are happy that they got a $1 million deal. At the time of payment, you have provided the work, you have done your work and everything. Now it's about payment. Now it's time to actually receive that $1 million. At that time, the other party who had to make the payment, this person backed off. He said, I'm not going to make you any type of payment. I'm not going to pay you. So let's say that Indian company was the one who worked on the project. Okay. The contract was between India and USA. Parties were from India and USA, right? Indian company is the one who worked on the project, who provided deliverables and service and all together. And USA company was the one who had to pay. Are we clear with the facts right now? Indian company was the one working. USA company is the one who has to pay. Are we clear with this fact? Thumbs up if everyone is clear. Okay. Now this US company has actually backed off. They said, I'm not going to pay you. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to pay you. At this time, Indian company being highly frustrated, they warned them, saying that if you're not going to make any payment, I'm going to file a case against you. Okay, that's what you do. That's how you give the warning, that if you're not going to make the payment within 10 days, I'm going to file a case against you. US company, what they did, out of cleverness, they filed a case in US court. Now, they filed a case saying that Indian company did a fraud on them and they did not provide any services to them. What will happen in this scenario? What will happen? The case has been filed in US. So now this Indian company people, they have to travel to US altogether. They have to find a lawyer over there. They have to pay for the travel charges, for the stay charges, and you all know the difference of fee when it comes to a US attorney and a lawyer in India. The fees is highly different, right? So this person did not just bear loss of $1 million, he also now has to prove his point that he actually delivered the products, he provided the services, he did not conduct any fraud. This person is not aware of US laws as well, right? And he also has to pay in dollars to that attorney. All he's doing this in a different country. All this could have been avoided just if we have kept this clause of governing law and jurisdiction in your contract. This clause would have clearly provided guidance to the both the parties that in case there's any dispute between them, all the disputes will be resolved in Indian courts, and this contract will be governed by laws of India. In that scenario, the US company, even if he wanted to, he could not have filed the case in US court, and we could have avoided all this trouble just by way of including this particular clause in your contract. Are we clear now? Like how this clause is useful? This clause basically says which country law will be the one governing the contract and which court will be having jurisdiction to resolve any disputes that may be arising with regard to this contract. So, had we written clearly that this contract will be governed by the laws of India and the courts of India will be having competent jurisdiction to resolve the disputes that may be arising with regard to this contract. This simple thing could have saved that Indian company from paying extra and going to US just to resolve the matter. Are we clear now? Please give a thumbs up. Any doubts, any questions, do let me know that you guys are understanding. Can we move ahead? That if this point is clear, what's the meaning of governing law and jurisdiction clause? Okay, great. Thank you. Now let's understand your next point. Lack of logical structuring and formatting, very important point. Just drafting the contract is not enough. You should also be aware of how to format your contract. What should be the actual formatting of the contract? What should be the uh, fonts that you should be using? How, what's the right way of structuring the contract? Okay, so over here your skill sets in terms of MS Word is also coming into picture. Just not draft a contract, always structure it properly. Okay, be good with your Microsoft Word as well, skill sets over there. And in the course you'll be trained on how to actually draft a contract from scratch, what fonts should be used, how to actually structure a contract, and overall thing. But always make sure that after drafting a contract, good practices, proofread it. Again, reread your contract at least 3 times so you can pick out your own mistake and correct it. Okay, before submitting your contract to your client, always make sure that you are rereading it just to check that you haven't missed out on any important clause, any important point, any important definition term, or anything. That's a good practice. Okay, one more point. Contract drafting skill sets is just not going to help you in getting a job, it is actually making you independent. You'll no longer be dependent on a company to start earning. you'll actually be able to get this clients as well while still in being in your law college. That's one of the thing. So even while studying in your law college, you can start earning just by way of contract drafting skill. How? You can start working as a freelancer. Freelancers, I'll tell you how you'll be able to start earning over here. US people, mainly US companies, they look for freelance lawyers in India. Okay, why this is so? The reason is we all know the fees of US attorney is highly different. Like it's there's no comparison over here. Okay, because we are talking about income you're receiving in dollars and the income you're receiving in INR. So there's no comparison between how much an Indian lawyer is earning and how much a US attorney is earning. There's high difference over here. So these companies, in order to avoid this difference, in order to avoid paying this high fee, they look for Indian lawyers who have knowledge of contract drafting. Okay. Now these lawyers, why you a question will pop to your mind like how is it possible? The Indian lawyer is not aware of US laws, right? On the other hand, the US company needs a lawyer who is aware of US laws. So having knowledge of US laws a bit can help you in getting a particular US client as well, and you'll be earning in dollars actually. So what this company will do, they'll pay you based on per contract you are drafting. So you can charge around 10,000 to 25,000 to 50,000, 1 lakh and above per contract. Depends on the type of contract you are drafting, especially when it comes to your non disclosure agreement, that is confidentiality agreement. To brief you out, it's an agreement entered between the parties with a promise to not share the information they are sharing with each other. Okay, that's just brief about your confidentiality agreement, where two parties promises each other that whatever information they are sharing with each other, they are not going to disclose it to anyone else outside the contract. Okay, now this agreement is highly demanded everywhere around the world. UK, US, India, Africa, everywhere, this particular agreement is highly in use. And there are many companies, freelancers, software developers, photographers, DJ, everyone needs a non disclosure agreement. Everyone, even Instagram influencers, they also need confidentiality agreement. Okay, so you can imagine the demand of a single non disclosure agreement, that this agreement is demanded everywhere around the world. And for this, you don't actually need to be aware of what laws needs to be applied. You actually need to be aware of how to draft a good non disclosure agreement, because this is highly demanded and the most complex agreement to be drafted. Okay, this is not something very easy that you'll be drafting. It is highly complicated. We have a altogether 3 days session on non-disclosure agreement where you'll be understanding in detail how you actually have to draft an NDA. What are the points to keep in mind? How you have to treat all type of different type of informations while drafting your NDA. So this is highly demanded agreement. As a freelancer, you can start earning while still being in your law college as well. So that's one thing. So start working on your skill sets today. Next is exclusion of boilerplate clauses. This term, boilerplate clauses, you might have heard about it somewhere, or maybe it's very new to you. What this basically means, this is an umbrella term. Okay, this is one common word which we are using. Under this term, we have 12 to 15 types of clauses that fall under, and combining them all together, we use the term boilerplate clauses. Now, to understand what is the meaning of this, it basically means essential clauses. These are highly important clauses that needs to be there in all your agreements that you're drafting. If you don't have these clauses in your agreement is not good. It's not watertight. It is having a lot of loopholes in it. One of the boilerplate clauses is your governing law and jurisdiction clause that we read few minutes ago, right? Governing law and jurisdiction. If that clause is not there in the agreement, we understood how the overall situation will be impacted, right? Just because governing law and jurisdiction clause is not there in the agreement, it can go against your company. Similarly, there are around 12 to 15 additional clauses that should be mandatorily kept in all your agreements. Okay, based on the type of agreement, we draft these clauses differently. Okay, but these clauses are very important to be included in all your agreements. So in the contract drafting course there will be altogether 3 days separate session just on boilerplate clauses. So you are understanding about these clauses in depth, about what are the things to keep in mind when you start with your drafting, what are the things to look into when you are reading these clauses, when you are reviewing them, and also how you can negotiate on these clauses, like how client negotiations are done. That is also you are going to learn in the course. There will be proper class activity where you'll be participating in contract negotiation and you'll be negotiating clauses in that particular activity. So you'll be learning all these things in detail. Okay, now we already covered lack of thorough review and proofreading. So let's wind this particular thing up over here. What are the important things you have to keep in mind when you start drafting a contract? Let's jump to the topic of contract lifecycle management. Okay, now what it is. Are we clear so far? So I can jump to your CLM thing now. Are we clear? Everyone, can I have your thumbs up? Okay. Karishma, I'll answer to your questions, okay? Please be there. No, we are not ending. I'll just brief you out about CLM now. Give me a moment, just few more details, and it is very important topic. You all should be aware of. Reason is every company is nowadays demanding lawyers who are aware of contract lifecycle management. Now, what is contract lifecycle management? It's one thing that you're drafting a contract, but if your contract you have drafted, it is not signed by the parties. Do you think it is execute? It is finally binding on the parties. If the contract is not signed by the parties, or let's say one of the party has not signed the contract, do you think it is binding on both the parties if any of the party has not signed the contract? Your company is entering into 1,000 contracts in a day. Now all these contracts are saved in that folder on your computer where you have saved all these contracts. It is not binding on the parties till the time both the parties have actually signed a contract. Okay, no agreement can be binding on the parties based on verbal confirmation. It needs to be properly signed by both the parties. So in our example of $1 million deal, if one company has signed the contract and this company started providing the services, other company did not sign the contract but they started accepting the services. Okay, so first month you received the payment as well. Second month also you received the payment. Third month you did not receive the payment. Now in this situation, this particular company has backed off again, saying that I'm not going to pay you. Eventually you want to file a case against them. But when it comes to filing a case, you notice that the contract is not signed at all. At what grounds you'll be able to file this case if the contract was not signed at first place? This is where your contract lifecycle management is coming into picture. Okay, so all the companies, all the corporates nowadays are using CLM tool. There's a separate contract management tool that is being used by company where they store their contract, where they process their contract and also draft their contracts. This tool is basically helping the companies keep a track of at what stage their contract is right now, whether the contract has been completely executed by the parties, whether the contract is about to get expired, whether the contract is at the stage of negotiation right now. So, whatever details you need, you'll be able to get on this tool. Now, very interesting thing is not everyone is aware of how to work on CLM tool. And Just because of this reason, companies are paying salary equivalent to IT people. You will be getting salary equivalent to IT individuals, okay? Provided CLM tools, there are two type of opportunities you can apply over here after having knowledge of your contract lifecycle management. One is that companies need lawyers who are aware of how to work on this tool. Are we clear with this? Companies need lawyers who are aware of how to operate on these tools. Clear on this part? Thumbs up, everyone, if everyone is clear. Secondly, companies also need lawyers who have experience of working on these tools and can help them create this tool. AI and tech has been increasing, right? So, IT developers, software developers are also moving to contract management sector. Now they need lawyers who have experience of working on CLM tool, and these lawyers are going to help them in developing this tool, in creating this tool. Okay, so these are the two type of opportunities where you can apply for, and you'll be paid in high amount. The friend I was talking about, she has got experience of contract lifecycle management plus drafting. That's the reason she's getting paid this much. And with the same experience, you can expect and negotiate your salary in a very good numbers. Okay, CLM is a highly demanded skill. Just having knowledge of contract drafting will not be sufficient. If you want to stay in the market, you are part of the competition. Be aware of contract lifecycle management, and this is not something you learn in your law college or in any book. CLM is something you'll learn once you're in corporate sector, and in our contract drafting course we'll explain you how to work on this tool as well. So you'll be working on the tool, you'll be having a proper session on how to work on the tool, how tool functions. There will be several steps involved in CLM. There's a stage of review, negotiation and all. You'll be properly explained and trained about what type of questions you can expect in your interview. And best part is CLM opportunities are also available in work from home. So while sitting in India, you can work for a US company as well, UK company, wherever you want to work for. Or even if you want to work abroad, with this particular knowledge, you'll be able to apply in foreign countries as well. So contract drafting and contract lifecycle management is one of the skill set which is beyond borders. You can apply for any opportunity just by having this skill sets. Okay, so that was all for today from my end. Now we are open for your question and answers. Whatever doubts you have, feel free to ask. Let me just take you through the course details once. Okay, that way you'll have more clarity what more you're going to learn in the course. So just give me a moment. I'm just sharing my screen with the course details. And in our website as well, it's not possible to, cover everything, every point in detail. Like, let's say, if I'm saying that you'll be learning about non disclosure agreement, we cannot take you through in non disclosure agreement what actual things you'll be learning, right? Because that's something you'll learn once you are into the course, once you have actually attending the classes. At that time, you'll be able to understand. So, let me just know once the topic is screen is visible to you. One second. This particular course can be done by anyone, like people from first year to final year or a working professional. You can do this course. Reason is we cover everything from basics. We make your basics very clear, and it is important. Even if you are aware of Indian Contract Act, it is important you are aware of essentials. Okay, so how I'll explain you the structure of the course. It's a 2 months course. Okay, in this 2 months there will be 3 sessions every week. Every week there are 3 sessions. Timings of the sessions are your 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. or 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. You'll be notified accordingly. After registration, you are added in a WhatsApp group where we update you about the timings of the sessions and all. And once you enroll through website, you'll automatically receive updates of the classes as well. The meeting link and all will be shared. And on website itself, you'll be able to access the course materials reading materials and everything. In the materials, you're receiving sample drafts, reading materials. So whatever topic we are talking about, you'll receive proper ebooks for them. You'll read them, you'll be able to understand them in detail. Okay, these things will already being covered in your class as well, but for your future purpose, you'll have proper ebooks to understand the concepts in detail. You're also getting sample draft for each topic that we have covered in this particular course. Okay, so you'll be properly trained on how to draft each type of agreement. And we'll be understanding the basics first, like you'll be understanding about what are contracts, what are e-contracts, electronic contracts, what are different type of electronic contracts, how do you make electronic contracts valid. Then we'll be having understanding of the structure of the contract, what are different type of clauses like boilerplate clauses, operational clauses, risk mitigation clauses. All these will be covered. Then we'll also be understanding about different type of agreements used in corporate. All the major agreements that are used in corporate, you're going to learn in this particular course. So be it your master service agreement, addendums, amendments, purchase order, change order, all the technical documents, everything will be covered over here. So once you enter into corporate sector, you're already aware of what this agreement is all about, and it will be easier for you to start working. We have students who have got 5 years of experience, they are already into corporate sector, but since they now want to switch to other companies or get a promotion, they are doing this course, and it has actually been very helpful for them, because after developing their skill sets, they applied for a better opportunity and demanded double of the salary which they were receiving. So we have, in the particular classroom, you'll be having people from first year to the people who are into corporate from 5, 6, 10 years as well. It's a mixture of crowd. You're not learning from a college faculty, you're directly learning from a professional. So the way of teaching is going to be highly different. You're not going to learn theoreticals, you're actually learning practical things over here. Okay, while making your theoretical strong, while making your basic strongs will take you towards practicality, how to apply this knowledge in real practical world. So you'll also be learning about drafting of non-disclosure agreement, joint venture agreement, partnership agreement, franchise agreement, employment agreement, freelancing agreement, and much more. Okay. Plus, there will be separate contract negotiation sessions where you'll be participating in activity with regard to contract life cycle management. There will be proper sessions where you'll be getting your hands on tool, you'll be working on the tool, you'll be getting proper training on how tool functions. Okay, interview tips and career guidance is already coming along with it, so that is there. Then contract review activity, how contract review is done, what are the points to consider, that is also going to be covered. When it comes to drafting, you are properly learning how to start drafting from a blank sheet. You're not learning AI tool and all. Okay, people are going after AI, you can use AI, but you'll never learn how to draft a contract if you're relying on AI. AI can never replace lawyers. Eventually it's your knowledge that is going to be helpful. AI can never replace you. Don't rely on AI contracts. We are training you properly how to draft a contract from scratch over here, so you can draft it yourself. You are not dependent on any tool over here. Okay, lastly there will be assignments as well, where you'll be drafting 2 to 3 assignments. You'll be getting practical scenarios to draft, and there will be feedback sessions where you'll get face to face feedback on your performance. So each student is getting personalized feedback on your performance. Nowhere in your college, in your internship, in your job, no one is going to sit and tell you this is where you are wrong, this is what you're doing incorrectly, this is where you have to improve. But in this particular course, we make sure, I personally make sure, that you are being aware of how you can improve your draft, what are the areas to focus on, what you should do in order to draft a very good contract. So we provide you proper feedback on your performance based on the contract you have drafted. So this is just not a course, this is self investment thing. You're investing on yourself to improve what you are today. Okay, so I think so. The price of the course was 6,000, is 6,000, but for the students who have participated, the fees is 5,000 for today. So the details will be shared with you all in the group for registration. The fees is highly, budgetable compared to the market prices and all. And at Ledroit, we aim at providing you affordable education, not compromising on quality. So stay assured that after joining this course, you will be aware of how to actually draft the contract. You'll be aware of how to work on the tool, how to review a contract, and how to negotiate a contract. You'll be highly confident after this particular skill sets. Okay, all right. So now we are open for question and answers. Whatever doubts you have, please feel free to ask. Okay, I'll be going through your questionnaires in the chat box. Let me do one thing. Let me allow you to unmute yourself. Okay, one second. I'm allowing you to unmute. Now you guys can unmute and ask your questions. Please make sure to raise your hand. Then, otherwise everyone will unmute themselves and directly start. So you guys can now unmute and ask your questions. Please raise your hand. That way we'll go ahead. Yes, Ishika.